You have the right to remain silent,
But we'd prefer if you didn't.
Spinning the law, spinning the law.
This is Malzberg's
Spinning the law,
Spinning the Law
spinning the law, spinning the law.
with attorney Kendell Coffey.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. And he's back and better than ever, ladies and gentlemen. I just love the way the band stops, like boom, and they leave. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. Joining us now is famed attorney Kendell Coffey, author of Spinning the Law. Hello, sir.
Hey, Steve, how are you?
I'm good. By the way, I'm sitting like in a meat locker, which I like it that way. But I got this cold going on, and everybody's coming in and said it's going to make you sicker and sicker. So I looked at the temperature on the, whatever, the thermostat, 62. So I think I should shut the AC off, right, for a while?
I think so. And I don't want to have any liability.
I love it. Spoken like a true attorney. Okay. Anyway, all right, let's get to a few issues here. And one is something that I saw today, which really piqued my curiosity and got my attention. Obamacare is before the U.S. Supreme Court again. The Alliance Defending Freedom lawyers filed the first viable petition for Supreme Court review involving, the Obamacare mandate, which requires employers to provide abortion-related insurance coverage, even if those employers have a religious objection to abortion. So it's now, I guess, gotten to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, it's before the Supreme Court in terms of a request that they consider the case, and it's considered to be a serious request. That it's been before a couple appeals courts, and I think that there's a lot of feeling that this is something the Supreme Court is going to want to address. And while, as we know, the Supreme Court affirmed Obamacare, this is a different issue. It has religious implications. It also takes us back to the question of if a business is owned as a corporation by individuals with strong religious feelings, do those religious rights of the individuals owning the business, are they invisible before the Constitution? Remember a little bit with Citizens United.
Right.
Do the individuals who have a corporate or a business form, are they within the meaning of the Constitution simply, or do they lose it simply because they have a business or they have a corporation? So that'll be part of the analysis too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And whether the government can pick and choose what faith is and who the faithful are and where they could exercise their faith. I mean, these go right to the heart of the Constitution, these questions, right?
Yeah, and I don't think that the alignment, it was a very close decision when Obamacare was affirmed, but I don't think we can assume that this is also going to be validated. This is different. It involves very different issues. It's not about the Commerce Clause or about the taxing authority. The core of it is First Amendment, and really nothing is more respected in the First Amendment than religious freedom.
All right, let's move on to Tom DeLay, the former Speaker of the House, who was convicted back in November of 2010 of money laundering. And today, the Texas Third Court of Appeals said in a 2-to-1 ruling that they were reversing the judgment based on, I guess, insufficient evidence.
Yeah, they did more than just reverse the verdict. They actually, in effect, ruled that he is not guilty. So they took it to, they rendered, in effect, a judgment of acquittal, which is, a complete victory, and in legal terms, a complete vindication. Essentially, it really wasn't money laundering after all. Money laundering, what we think of in the everyday sense, is money that comes from what you know to be an illegal source. The fact that there was some question about compliance with campaign finance laws doesn't mean that it was money laundering in the sense of the tainted funds that are, for example, Steve, the product of drugs or the product of fraud. That simply wasn't part of the case. The appeals court said he's not a criminal, and after an ordeal of many years, at least the legal part of this ordeal is now over.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting stuff. Okay. So those are the two legal cases of interest breaking today. But let's go to this. I want you to listen. It's about a minute long. Let's listen to this 911 tape, Will. This is a case down in Florida, I believe, and Charlotte, North Carolina, sorry. And here we're going to hear a woman pleading for police to hurry because a man is breaking into her front door. She calls 911, and she keeps screaming. And the police arrive, and one thing leads to another. And the young man is shot 10 times by a Charlotte Mecklenburg officer after being involved in a single car wreck. And police say that the person who was shot and killed may have been seeking help. And the officer is now on trial for voluntary manslaughter. So they made their first appearance in court on Tuesday. Let's listen to this 911 tape. Here we go. Yeah.
911, hello? I need help.
In the newly released 911 call, you can hear the sobbing woman, her voice altered by police, begging for help after hearing someone at her door.
Is there everything in your front door?
Yeah, he's trying to take it down.
Investigators in Charlotte now say that man was 24-year-old Jonathan Farrell, a former safety for Florida A&M. He had just crashed his car and was looking for help. But police say the woman he found was home with her 1-year-old and terrified.
Is he still in the house? Did he leave yet?
No, he's not in the house. He's in the front yard yelling. Oh my God, please.
When officers arrived, police say Farrell took off running, charging them. A police report says an officer deployed his taser, but it was unsuccessful. At that point, Officer Randall Carrick opened fire, hitting the 24-year-old 10 times, killing him. Police call the shooting excessive. Carrick is charged with voluntary manslaughter.
We're confident that at the resolution of this case, it will be found that Officer Carrick's actions were justified.
Justified, they say, by the confusion captured on that 911 call.
Oh my God, where is he going? Why is he running?
All right, so this is, they're saying, I don't know what color I know that what color the victim is. The former Florida A&M player Jonathan Farrell is black. I don't know about the person in the house, and I don't know. I should know about the cop, but I don't. But they're saying that this is, reminiscent of Trayvon Martin. But these are real cops, and this is a situation where they had the 911 call and they were responding. And if in fact, I guess, doesn't it all hinge kind of if in fact this young man ran at the cops, or they perceived him to be running at them when they ordered him not to? I mean, I don't know. How does this proceed, do you think?
Well, first of all, police have a different and obviously elevated right to use lethal force than everyday citizens. So this is a tragic accident. I was surprised to see that it was charged as a crime of homicide. I mean, this woman was in terror, and of course, the individual who was ultimately killed apparently wasn't trying to do anything to injure her. He'd been in a car accident. He was seeking help. The police officers didn't know that. They get a desperate 911 call from a terrified woman who's concerned about a 1-year-old baby. If what the police are saying is true, they see a strong man charging at them. They try to stop him with a taser. I have difficulty feeling, Steve, that this case is headed for a conviction. And the reports talk about the number of shots, but unfortunately, or not, when the way police are trained, if they see someone charging at them, I mean, they try to stop them with a taser. If they can't, they're gonna be using lethal force in that situation.
Right, they shoot to kill. They shoot to the body mass and kill. Yeah.
I'm sure the officer, who apparently was white, feels awful. No, nobody wanted this to happen. No, nobody at all. But not every tragic accident, even ones with fatal consequences, are a crime.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and we'll see how this plays out. And so it is actually going to trial, I guess, and now we're going to have a probable cause hearing. What exactly is a probable cause hearing, which will take place on October 7th?
Well, a probable cause hearing is not a chance for a defendant to present his or her defense. You simply look at the evidence as put forward by the prosecution. And it's not even a reasonable doubt standard. It simply says, does this show that there's a probability of guilt based just on what the state has to say? So normally it's very tough for a defendant to get a case thrown out at the probable cause stage. However, this is going to be this may be a closer call than most.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got one more, and I'm trying to decide between, and it's not really funny, but that's how they refer to her, as the hiccup girl, or the marchers protesting what they're claiming is segregation. Let's go with the latter rather than the former. You have hundreds of people gathered to march silently after officials at the University of Alabama at Tuscaloosa confirmed that a sorority recruitment was based on race. And setting one of the most, this is the biggest such march since the protests of the 60s, to protest the exclusion of black students from fraternities and sororities. So how could this be happening?
It's startling to know that something like this could be happening in the year 2013. Obviously, racism at the university is condemned by everyone from the governor to the students. So hopefully it's an isolated event, and in all events, it sounds like there is a reaction throughout the university that's in strong opposition to this, and there should be.
Yeah, and of course it could lead to some legal workings, I would imagine, closing down of some sororities if they're found to have been doing this, et cetera. Correct?
I'm sure there's going to be consequences if this is proven to be racial discrimination.
All right, my friend, always interesting, never a paucity of items to talk about, and I thank you for your time. It's very valuable, and we appreciate it. We'll speak to you next time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Kendell Coffey, ladies and gentlemen, spinning the law with us here on the Steve Malzberg Show. I'd love to have you weigh in, if you so desire, on the shooting of the Florida A&M football player, Jonathan Ferrell. Here's what you got. A terrible, terrible tragedy. He said that the officer is white. Let's presume he's white. I don't know. Shouldn't matter, but, of course, we know it does matter. But here's a case of a 24-year-old black man who, in reality, apparently, crashed his car, was dazed and confused, got out of the car looking for help. Maybe he was bleeding, who knows, banging on someone's door. This woman sees this guy banging on a door. She's got a 1-year-old at home. She's terrified. Rightly or wrongly, that's her perception. She's terrified of this guy. Calls 911. You can hear the panic. You can hear what she's saying. This is what the police are getting. There's a guy, he's banging on my door. He's screaming. He's trying to get into my house. I got a baby. They relay this to the cops, going there. Apparently, according to the cops, now I wasn't there, he turns and he charges towards them. They try to tase him. Doesn't work. He keeps running. They shoot him. I don't know. If they said to him, stop, put your hands up, and he didn't, then they have a right to defend themselves, as tragic as it is, but that's their right. So I want to know what you think, if this is going to develop into one of these, nationally viewed cases. 855-777-9660, 855-777-9660, right here on the Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.